Hey guys, I'm Oride, and in this video I'm gonna see how far I can get in Resident Evil 4 with grenades only. Now the reason I'm not calling this a grenade only challenge is because I'm pretty sure that's an impossible feat unless you have an arsenal of grenades in your inventory from several runs. Something that I unfortunately do not have the time to do. As always, I would not be allowed to stun or kill enemies using any other weapon but grenades. However, I would be allowed to knife crates, barrels, and vases. I would also be allowed to use the default handgun on objects that are out of reach, such as these boxes at the waterfall, this wine bottle on the painting, and the restraints on Ashley. And the reason for that is while all these obstacles can actually be cleared with hand grenades, it would be a waste and would seriously limit how far I can go, which I'm predicting isn't going to be very far at all in the first place. So with all that said, let's get right into it.
Resident Evil 4.
Now obviously we can't make any progress at all until we kill this guy, so I spent about half an hour trying to get this crate to drop at least an incendiary grenade so that I could take him out. But I had no luck, which wasn't very surprising. Of course I could start a new game plus with just a single hand grenade or incendiary grenade in my inventory, but all my new game plus inventories look like this, so that was out of the question. But for the sake of this video, let's just pretend that I did take him out with a grenade and keep going. Also, I don't know if you guys have noticed this before, but apparently the cops tell you to stop goofing around if you try to shoot them or the car at the start of the game.
No estés odiando. Get this over with, will you? Hey, stop fooling around. Damn.
My next dilemma was this crow that drops a hand grenade if you kill it. In fact, the village is full of these dilemmas. There's this hand grenade in the nest, this incendiary grenade in another nest, and this crow that drops a flash grenade. I decided to grab all of them with the help of the default handgun because I figured I'd need all the grenades I could possibly get if I wanted to make it past the village at least. So the first obstacle in this challenge was the first giant, but he was actually quite easy to defeat thanks to Spiral Out's strategy. I've left a link to their channel and the video where they defeat the giant in the description box below, but I've tweaked it a bit to use 2 hand grenades and 1 flash grenade instead of 3 hand grenades. And with that done, the rest of the village should have been a breeze, but clearly that would have been too easy. I made it through Luis's cabin without using a single grenade and was even lucky enough to have a hand grenade and a flash grenade tossed at me before the fight was over. After that, I went to the door on the right since the giant can easily be skipped without fighting him. But then came the dreaded gondola ride. So this is the part where I realized I had to start the run all over again. The plan was to just take hits and ignore everyone except for the 2 jumpers who try to saw off the lift. This way I'd only be using 2 hand grenades, which is the lowest I could go, but I just didn't have enough health items to make it the end of the ride. So I decided to start over and spent a good couple of minutes farming for some chicken eggs so that I'd have better luck this time. But because of all the eggs in my inventory and the fact that this isn't a new game plus, I didn't have the space to max out on handgun ammo like I normally do, which is probably why Luis didn't toss me any grenades this time around. Anyway, I made it to the gondola ride with 12 brown chicken eggs in my inventory, which I thought was a little overkill, but I ended up using most of them to make it to the end in one piece. The big cheese took 7 incendiary grenades to kill, and I took out Mr. Hit and Run here with a flash grenade to finally make it to the castle with just 3 hand grenades in my inventory. The catapult guy was quite annoying, but thankfully I had a couple of eggs left over from the gondola ride to heal while he kept hitting me with fireballs. And then it was time to face the Gorador, which turned out to be a bit more complicated than I'd expected. The hand grenades would just stun him for a bit without hurting the plaga mass on his back. I almost thought that this was the end of the run when I finally stumbled across an angle that actually worked, so I was really happy about that. Next up was the water room, which wasn't too bad since I'd been saving all my flash grenades for it, but it did take a couple of tries because I'd miss a throw every now and then, which I couldn't just look past since I needed to save all the grenades I possibly could. At this point, I thought I'd at least be able to make it to Luis's death, but the speedy goat guy had other ideas. This guy has more HP than the Goradors, which was clearly a problem because it took 3 hand grenades plus 3 incendiary grenades to kill him, which was exactly all I had in my inventory. So I thought I'd just call it a day and end the run here when I had a big brain moment. I thought, hey, why don't I get Goatface to glitch out so that he grabs me and that way I could kill him with the melee attacks that Leon does when shaking him off. And it worked, obviously, so I managed to keep the run going a little longer. Surprisingly enough, Ashley wasn't all that complicated to watch out for. All it took was just one hand grenade and 3 incendiary grenades and she was up and running for the key. Over here I decided not to use the lanterns as usual since the lanterns aren't grenades, although they are pretty similar to incendiary grenades now that I think about it. And a simple flash grenade was enough to get this guy to fall off the dragon and to save Ashley from whatever this thing is. But that is about as far as I could get. I only had 3 hand grenades left for the nitro when it took all 3 of them to get the Plaga out of their heads. This meant that I only had enough for the first round of knights, which pretty much ended the run then and there. I personally don't think it's possible to get past chapter 4.1 without a whole bunch of hand grenades in your inventory from a previous playthrough. Even if you get lucky with random drops, I don't think you'd get any more than 1 or 2 extra hand grenades. And I'm assuming you'd need at least 9 to get through this chapter, 6 for the knights and about 3 for the dual Garadors, unless someone comes up with a strategy to get past the knights with fewer grenades, because I couldn't figure out one. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I'll hopefully see you in the next one.